What the heck is going on with Consolidated Outland? Here we've got a manufacturer with some cool ships and super unique design ideas, but they only have 8 ships. But not really 8 ships. 5 of them are variations on the same frame, and one of them is a concept that won't be out anytime soon. We're going to break down what Consolidated Outland does have, and break it into the most respected format on the internet, a tier list. An objectively correct tier list, because all of my Star Citizen opinions are perfect. The Mustang Alpha. This starter ship fucks. It's one of the 2 ships you can buy as part of a $45 starter pack to start playing Star Citizen. Although it lacks the bed of the Aurora series, it more than makes up for it with increased agility, a storage bay, and a far superior appearance. The Alpha rocks a pair of size 2 laser repeaters from the factory, and has 2 additional size 1 hardpoints. Especially once you add another set of repeaters to the empty hardpoints, it has a decent amount of damage for its role. The slide-out storage compartment on the bottom lets you carry a few SCU worth of cargo, or a passenger, if your passenger isn't afraid of enclosed dark spaces and also trusts you quite a bit. Most importantly compared to the Aurora, this ship is fun to fly. It feels light and agile in a way the Aurora doesn't, while still having an acceptable amount of firepower for a starter ship. Due to it being an absolutely excellent first ship, I'm putting the Alpha in the S tier. So, the next few ships are all going to go pretty quick, because CO has 5 Mustang variations. But they have their differences and end up on different spots on the tier list, so they're worth covering individually. The Mustang Beta is a starter explorer. Same 4 hardpoints weapons loadout of the Mustang Alpha, but it has a couple differences. Firstly, it has a larger quantum fuel tank, allowing for longer distance travel. More importantly, it has the absolutely cutest little cabin behind the cockpit. This contains a bed for bed logging, a galley, and a relatively classy shoilet. I would assume that when we get real exploration gameplay, we'll get some of that available with this ship. When that happens, the Beta will be an excellent starting point into exploration gameplay, therefore the Mustang Beta is an A-tier ship. The next specialized version of the Mustang is the Mustang Delta. It's a cool idea. A militarized version of the Mustang with signature-reducing armor and built-in rocket pods. Additionally, the Delta has size 2 wing hardpoints instead of size 1, which lets it pack an increased punch compared to its brethren. The upsized wing mounts don't add a ton of damage, but they add a few DPS. The biggest pro this little guy has is the signature reduction. At 40% SIG reduction for EM, IR, and cross-section, it is significantly harder to spot on radar than other Mustangs. The last difference is the pair of Jericho XL rocket pods. And here's where I have a beef with the Mustang Delta. Each pod contains 18 unguided Jericho rockets. These are rockets, not missiles. So they're faster than missiles, but still slow compared to most weapons. Slow speeds, plus an inability to target lock like missiles can, makes for an inconvenient weapon against smaller targets. And against larger targets, the rocket pods don't really push enough DPS to accomplish much of anything. The Delta is a cool concept, but in terms of actual gameplay, it's not there yet. If they made the rocket pods do a lot more damage against big targets and did a bit of a balance pass, the Delta could be up there with other light fighters. But it's not yet. So I'd call it a C-tier ship for now. If you disagree with any of my rankings or think I've gone off the deep end, please leave a comment and let me know where I'm off. And as we near the end of CO's Mustang range, we get to their racing variant, the Mustang Gamma. The Gamma has a sweet racing-inspired livery and slightly better acceleration/agility than the base Mustang. In return for the racing-related perks, it loses the size 1 hardpoints on the wings, and the cargo bay underneath that the Mustang Alpha comes with. However, the combination of the Mustang's pleasant flight characteristics with some increased zippiness makes the Gamma a fun ship to race or low fly at a reasonable price. I give it a solid B. Okay, I know you're getting tired of hearing about Mustangs, but this is the last one, and it's the uber rare Mustang Omega. The Omega is a racing variant with the same stats as the Gamma. However, it has an exclusive livery and was only available with the purchase of certain AMD graphics cards. Hence the prominent red livery with AMD on it. It's a cool idea, and SIG even came up with an in-universe entity called AMD for verisimilitude. However, you can't really get the Omega anymore since no one is selling R9 graphics cards in 2024. It would be great if AMD and SIG could get together and find a way to make new Omegas available. Maybe include it with a cool overpriced Team Red t-shirt? Because it's a ship that most people can't get, and it annoys me that they haven't followed up with any new ways to acquire it, I rate the Mustang Omega as a C. Finally, moving on from the Mustangs, we come to the smallest vehicle in the CO lineup, the Hoverquad. This is a single-seat hover vehicle with no weapons. It's a bit more maneuverable, and prettier, than the Drake Dragonfly. It fits in the back of the Nomad, and even though it doesn't have much of a use in-game right now, I think it fits the outdoor/explorer vibe of CO well. It even kind of looks like an ATV, with the riding position and the 4 big hover pads. One thing I'd love to see, if they do a balance pass on the Hoverquad, would be the capacity to hold maybe a 1 SCU box, or a couple little boxes, or both, on the back of the vehicle. It would make sense with the utilitarian styling and would give it more of an in-game purpose. Because it lacks any real purpose now, has recently been upstaged by smaller hover vehicles with guns, and hover vehicle random explosion risk in general, I would rate the Hoverquad as a D-tier vehicle. The last currently flyable vehicle from Consolidated is the Nomad. Say hello to the Toyota Tacoma of the verse. Utilitarian styling while still having a somewhat sleek, refined appearance. Easily externally accessible pickup truck style bed, an incredibly cozy little cabin. The Nomad has 3 size 3 weapons hardpoints that come equipped with laser repeaters by default. This gives it a higher DPS than the Mustangs. 8 size 2 missiles provide it with some standoff capability. Plus they can be replaced with rattlers for 200% more fun. It still uses size 1 components but has 3 shields and increased hit points compared to its Mustang little brothers. This is a somewhat all-purpose ship. Respectable for low-level combat missions, can do some light hauling with 24 SCU of cargo space. Interior space for deliveries with a bed-to-bed login. The Nomad is a great starter ship for someone who wants more than a Mustang Alpha, but less than a Cutlass Black. And with respectable quantum fuel tanks, it's a useful runabout for someone with a larger fleet. I'd say the Nomad is B tier. And now we get to CO's largest ship, and unreleased ship, the massive base-building Pioneer. This thing is not in-game yet and costs a gentleman's $850 to pledge. 200 meters long with 600 SCU of cargo, and the ability to fabricate the largest base structures. The Pioneer currently is listed with 4 turrets for self-defense and some pilot-controlled distortion cannons, but I'm sure this is highly subject to change before release. But to me, this concept has some issues. We are a significant ways out from any base building in Star Citizen, in my opinion. There are very few specifics about how any of it is going to work. The cheaper, multifunction RSI Galaxy will be able to build most structures. I would hope that you can make a friend or contract with someone else who has a Pioneer to build the few structures a Galaxy won't be able to build. Making any group wanting to build a base need to have an almost $1,000 ship to do so would be poopy, in my humble opinion. Because the Pioneer is so far out from completion, its high price tag, extra FOMO sales pitch, and very unknown actual utility in-game, I rate it as a D-tier ship for now. That concludes the existing and announced ships for Consolidated Outland. Here's the final tier list. The Mustang Alpha is S tier, Mustang Beta is A tier, Nomad and Mustang Gamma, B tier. Delta and Omega flavors of Mustang fill out the C tier. And the Hoverquad and Pioneer come in at the bottom in the D tier. Let me know what tier list you'd like to see next. Thanks for hanging out. Like and subscribe if you'd like to see more.